Collaborate Ultra, Basics and Beyond, Part 1. In this presentation, we intend to cover 3 areas, which are how Blackboard Collaborate is being used, the interface overview, and a basic setup. So these are a few areas that we know Blackboard is being used in education. Of course, in online or distance education, professional development, which is what we're doing today, virtual office hours, remote guest lectures, conferences and seminars, student projects and collaborations, mentoring and tutoring, research collaboration, blended learning programs, faculty meetings, and networking. Now, these are a few tools that are in Blackboard Collaborate, and just want to show you an overview that gives you a description on what some of these items are. And so when you see the icon, you'll know what the icon represents. So there's a chat feature, which I'll actually show you in the interface what that looks like, which allows students as well as the instructor to type and communicate with those participants in the discussion or within the session. There's a participant panel, which I'll show you, and this allows you to see who is actually in the session. There's share content, which allows you to share particular types of items with only a few types of formats, which includes PDF or Acrobat documents, PowerPoint, GIF, JPEG, and PNG files, which are all image files and formats. There's My Settings, which allows you to add your profile image, as well as make some other adjustments. And then this area allows you to actually close the panel in which you make many of these adjustments above. You have ability to use the whiteboard, which allows you to draw on the screen, and this area can be shared with all of those who are participants. We have the share files, which I've went over already. The polling, which is a feature that allows you to have those who are participating in the session actually vote on different items, and you can kind of summarize and see how many people voted on a particular item. So you can use multiple choice, you can use true and false. All of those are options. A very powerful one that's underused is the breakout groups, which enables you to create different groups as if you would do in a physical classroom, where you may send someone or a particular group or groups to different rooms, physical rooms, or if you kind of had students kind of spread out in the room and work on a project, and then you can actually bring everybody back. When students are in breakout groups or participants are in breakout groups, they have the ability to use all the tools just amongst themselves. So if there was a breakout group with 5 students, those 5 students could all have their webcams up. They could actually all be speaking just to each other and no one else would hear. They would have a special whiteboard just for that group. And then when that session was done, how much ever time you wanted to give them, then you could bring everybody back. And as a moderator, you actually would have the ability to kind of jump from room to room and check on individuals. These are just some other items, of course, that allow you to know the status of the audio, the video. You can see when participants have their hands raised, that type of thing. And of course, this is the Collaborate panel, which allows you to make adjustments to many of the settings. The last item I'm going to cover, and then we're going to look through actually the, instead of just pictures of the interface, we'll actually go through it. This area is really important. Sometimes you may have problems accessing your camera or your microphone. It's important that you, using, of course, the preferred web browser, which is Google Chrome, you want to make sure that you click on this item. So when you click on here, I believe you should be able to see, hopefully, when I click here, maybe it doesn't show up, but when you click on that item up top in the menu area, it shows microphone as well as camera and you can make sure that you activate those items. And then when you actually get to the point of setting up your camera and your video, you'll use these items here. So let's start off and actually go to the panel. Which is right here. And of course, I'm set as the moderator. As I mentioned before, this is a chat area. And within this area, you'll see that it gives you an option to chat with everyone or just the moderator. I'm the only one in the session now, but it would also give me the option to chat with particular individuals or participants. You have the emoticons right here, which can be utilized. Then right here, you'll see that it actually shows those individuals, the participants who are logged in. So it looks like I'm logged in twice. An important note is actually the ability to change individual status, which since in both instances, I am set as a moderator, I can't change myself and demote myself, but it would actually give you the option right here to change an individual from a participant to a presenter to a moderator. Little note right here. This actually is something that you want to take note of, is that this gives the status of one's internet connection. So if you see this, I think it actually kind of blinks, or you may see less lines going through, which you could indicate that a student is having internet problems and connection problems, and there may be a delay on that end. So this is a very important area, which has several items in it, which is the share content. So as I mentioned before, you have the ability to have the whiteboard and making sure that all those who are participating have the ability, then anyone in the room can draw on this. And you see the tools up here. This is a selection, so I can kind of point around and drag items around that are on here. This is just kind of like a pointer. You can see the hand being pointed. The drawing tool you already saw. You can see you can change the colors here. Allows you to draw shapes. And if there's some text you want to type, you can do that. I guess it'll help if I spell that correctly. And to make it bigger, I can just drag that corner and do that. Then there's the clear tool, which allowed me to clear everything off the screen. If you notice right here, this allows me to start and stop sharing. And of course, these are some zoom tools, zoom out, best fit, one-to-one. Now, sharing an application, I'm currently doing that, so don't want to really do too much with that, but just want to kind of explain what the two differences are. I guess maybe I can do that. Let me go ahead and open up I'm going to open up Internet Explorer. Hopefully that doesn't crash me. Yeah, it actually may be using a little bit too many resources. But I'll go ahead and see if it lets me do it. So there's a difference between entire screen and just an application. Entire screen is that anything I open up, if I open up different browsers, if I open up Microsoft Word, anything I open up, you'll be able to see it. Now with just an application, I would just choose one particular application. And of course, this takes that you have to install the extension when you're doing that. But sharing the application, I would just add the proper extension, and then it would show a list of different applications that are open. The application has to be open for it to work. So if I had Microsoft Word open, it would show that, and I could choose which window I wanted to share with everyone, and everyone would be able to see it. Now, special note with that, there are limitations in terms of sharing your screen in terms of the mobile devices, and can't remember all the details on that, but I can make sure that that's made available to you, that you want to be aware of the limitations of individuals on mobile devices. So I'm going back to the Collaborate panel. We talked about sharing the application, sharing files. So this is the ability, as we showed and discussed earlier, it allows you to share PDF, PowerPoints, and other image files. So right now, you can see you can just drag a presentation in there. Let's see if I have a image or something on the desktop, which you can kind of see how that can be added in that area. Let's see, give me a second as I look for something on the desktop. Let's see. Not finding anything quickly, but just gonna have to trust me this time that if you do drag a image in that box, you don't have to do what you normally would do in terms of finding it and all of those types of things, but it actually just allows you to go right in and actually drag it here and it'll pop up. So you can have several different PowerPoint presentations. You can have several different images, and depending on which one you click on and share now, will determine what comes up. So you can see that the slides aren't showing in the main area because it's waiting for me to choose which slide I want to start with. So I have the ability to look and then choose to go to whichever one I want to go to. And we showed these a little earlier, how I can zoom in, zoom out, best fit, one-on-one. All of those options are there. So this button, as I mentioned, is stop sharing. And I'll go back to the main panel. So the polling, I mentioned that one. So you can set up how many choices you would have. Normally, you would have the questions in which you could kind of express or inform the students of, but I'm going to go back and use this one. And so, and then I'm going to go to the polling. And I'm going to say 5. So I can, if I had it listed over here, I could say, you know, for those who think the most important area to use Collaborate is distance learning, press 1. For those who say professional development, 2, and so forth. And so you can see as I click on these, it would show multiple individuals voting for a particular area. And when I wanted to stop the poll, I could lock it. It would show the total number of responses, and then I can move to the next poll and everyone will be able to see the data. So I'm going to go ahead and clear that and stop that poll completely. And then the last area that I'm going to discuss in terms of this is the breakout groups. And you can see that these are all of the individuals that are in the group. You can set, assign groups, allow individuals to switch what groups. You can choose the groups and name them. You can actually rename them. So right now there's a group 1. I could go ahead and click there and I could call this the distance learning group. And I could name this one the professional dev group. And if I wanted to drag someone in here, I could just drag them into whatever group. And when I click start, it would actually move those individuals to those particular groups. And let's see if this allows me to do this, how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and start. And so you are the only one in group 3. So I can go in from here and I could set up a whiteboard, and I'm going to put a big 3 on here. And then I'm going to go ahead and go to group, and then I'm going to jump in with the distance learning group since I have the ability to switch. So now both of us are in this particular breakout group. And if I decided to share application, or no, not going to share application, share file, you can see there's nothing in here because this particular group doesn't have a file. Let's see if I can find something in here that can be shared. And it looks like I'm not able to find anything quickly. Let's see if there's anything in the pictures. Yep, so go ahead and see that picture and share that now. And if I go back to breakout groups, I can see that in distance learning group, this picture is there. And if I go back to group 3 and update, or you see that that number's there. Now I'm finished with groups. I can just end the breakout groups by clicking stop. And this would bring everybody back to that main area. So we've covered chat, we've covered looking at the listing, and this is an area that allows you to change what permissions individuals have, the different options to share, as well as polling and breakout groups, and settings. This area is used for basically some different adjustments that you can make. If we go up top, you'll see there's the area where you set up your camera, set up your phone, or audio. So you can actually, and this is something that I recently learned, is that people, when you do the phone, this number is just for me. So other individuals won't have the same phone number. So you don't want to give the phone number. You just have to direct individuals on where they can get the phone number so that the phone number is just for that particular individual. So each student would have, maybe the phone number is the same, but each student who chose to use the phone instead of the audio within the computer would be given their own PIN number. And what happens, the reason why that's important is because when you jump to phone, actually the audio no longer functions on the computer. So you can't use the phone conference information as well as the microphone. There's some problems if you try to do that. So we have the notification settings. As well as the session settings, what the participants can do, and you can set this up front and make it so that everybody can share audio, share video, chat, and as well as draw on the whiteboard. If you're having some problems, or you may assume that you may have some problems, you can disable some of these items so that no one has the ability to draw on the whiteboard, or you don't want anybody chatting in the beginning. You want them to just give you their undivided attention. So you can turn those things on and off there. I know this was a quick overview. If you have questions, we encourage you to contact your instructional design manager or one of the instructional design managers, and we'll be able to help you to get more clarity on the different uses for Blackboard Collaborate and how to use it more effectively. Another question I just thought about is, this is an issue that many instructors have had, and that is if they're teaching more than one course, they want to share the Collaborate session with multiple courses. How that can be done is, let me go through here. Let's see. Actually, I don't think it's in here. There's another area that you actually have to go to in the class where you create it. So we'll probably talk about that more in the next session. I hope this was helpful to you and that you got something out of it. And like I said, please feel free to contact your instructional design manager if you have any questions and want to further your use and understanding of Blackboard Collaborate Ultra. Thank you. Bye.